It's not the first time UConn's been ranked #1, but it's the longest time. Tonight from Alumni Hall in Jamaica, New York, the 22-1 ranked Connecticut Huskies meet the St. John's Red Storm. Hello, everyone. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Megan Pattison, and thanks so much for spending part of your Tuesday evening with us. For the 14th consecutive week, UConn is ranked #1 in the country. It's the longest stretch the Huskies have ever had at #1. And Megan, for the third consecutive game, the UConn battle cry is, if the shoe fits.
Well, for Kelly Schumacher, the size 12 shoe is fitting pretty well at this point in the season. The 6'5" junior picking a great time to play her best ball. You see one of her 5 blocks. And what I love here, look at the explosion. Hits the floor, comes right back up. 5 points, 5 blocks, 4 boards. Proof that you don't have to score a lot of points to be effective. The fewest number of turnovers on the Huskies belongs to this woman. And I asked Coach Ariema earlier about that performance against Rutgers.
Kelly stepped in and had a great game defensively, and looking back at the tape, every shot that she blocked, all 5 of them, saved layups for us, and that's 10 points in a 4-point game. If Kelly can give us solid minutes defensively and rebounding like she did, that really helps fill a big hole in our lineup.
St. John's is 8-14, 3-9 in the Big East. The Red Storm have had trouble scoring, averaging only 61 per game. Their most consistent scorer has been Latasha Thompson.
Well, Latasha Thompson is left-handed, Bob. She's really quick. She likes to go one-on-one to the hoop. So she's going to really need to get into the lane, create some things. She's a good defensive player. See, she gets herself to the free throw line, and she converts. She had 31 points against Providence in one of those 5 games, the best scoring performance by a Big East player this season in conference. She's going to need to do that again tonight to have a chance to win.
UConn coming off its lowest point scoring total of the season against Rutgers. Svetlana Obrosomova had her 4th double-double of the year. The starting lineups are next. In New York, let's meet the starting lineup. Dave Gilday is the public address announcer.
A 6'2" junior forward from St. Petersburg, Russia, number 25, Svetlana Obrosomova. A 6'5" junior center from Keon, Canada, number 11, Kelly Schumacher. A 5'9" sophomore guard from Syosset, New York, number 10, Sue Bird. A 6-foot junior guard from Fayetteville, North Carolina, number 33, Shea Ralph. The head coach of the Huskies is Gino Ariema. The associate head coach is Chris Daly, and the assistant coaches are Tanya Cardoza and Jamel Elliott. And now your 1999-2000 St. John's Red Storm. A 5'11" junior guard from Miami, Florida, number 25, Yukisha Aitan. A 6'4" senior forward from Split, Croatia, number 44, Tanya Mergen. A 6'4" sophomore center from Patterson, New Jersey, number 4, Tanisha Miles. A 5'5" sophomore guard from Detroit, Michigan, number 11, Gianni Bowles. A 5'7" junior guard from Newark, New Jersey, number 10, Latasha Thompson. The head coach of the Red Storm is Darcel Estep. The assistant coaches are Joyce Jenkins, Doug Robertson.
UConn has won 22 straight and 38 of its last 39 games against Big East opponents. Back with the opening tip after the Alumni Hall and the 40th meeting between UConn and St. John's, their only meeting of the regular season. Kelly Schumacher getting her 3rd straight start as we see how UConn has controlled this series, winning the last 13 and 22 of the last 23. Schumacher controls the tap. Svetlana Obrosomova, and that didn't take long.
And that's the right thing to do. Attack the basket, make the defense make a decision, and perhaps value.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, Megan. I predict that UConn will score more than the 49 points they had Saturday against Rutgers.
You're so smart.
One possession, one turnover for the Red Storm as we look at Gino Auriemma looking for career win number 380 tonight. Shea Ralph defended man-to-man by the much smaller Latasha Thompson, giving away 5 inches in that matchup. Down low, Schumacher out top to Sue Bird, and we're going to get a foul away from the play, a 3-second call by Dennis DeMeo, who's working the game with Benita Spence and Karen Wilhite.
Well, Swin Cash was wide open in there. Schumacher got the ball in the low post, but missed her. And Shuey's a good passer. She made some tremendous passes Saturday at Rutgers. Full
court pressure employed by the Huskies. This is Thompson, who not only is the leading scorer for the Red Storm, but also does the majority of the ball handling. Gianna Bowles is number 11. Thompson for 3. Long rebound, and Cash will just screen the shooter and let it go out of bounds. Husky ball.
Well, Thompson's going to take most of their shots. She's predominantly left-handed. The Huskies' scouting report is to force her to her right, but keep her in front. She takes more threes than anyone on the team.
Abrosimova up top, Schumacher. This is Sue Bird. Bullet pass to Abrosimova, but she missed the layup.
It was a perfect pass to it. Led Abrosimova right to where she wanted to be, but got caught overshooting the hoop.
This is Thompson's 13th start of the year. Bowles, number 11, making only her 6th start. Long shot by Mergen, the senior from Croatia, with her first 2 of the night.
Well, if Mergen can get a look like that, wide open, she's got a great stroke.
Bird. High post Schumacher, right side of Abrosimova. Down low Schumacher, she's surrounded, kick out. Bird can't get it to go, but Abrosimova with the rebound. She has taken over the team lead in rebounding from Swin Cash. Schumacher back to Abrosimova for 3. And the long rebound pulled down by Mergen. Taken right away by Ralph, who is 3rd in the Big East in steals, and she's called for the carry.
Well, we were screened and couldn't see that, but in the Huskies' first possession, Shea Ralph had the ball at the top of the key, and I, just sitting here, motioned that I thought she carried it that time as well. So, not a bad call.
The turnover story in the early going. Mergen at 6'4", brings the ball up the floor. She's trapped in front of us. Finally gets it away to Tanisha Miles. This is Bowles at 5'5", the shortest player on the court. Kick out to Thompson. Ralph may have gotten away with a shove there. Up high, it's Miles. Shoots over Schumacher, who may have altered that one. Schumacher with the rebound. We played 2.5 minutes, and we're tied at 2. Bird throws it behind Abrosimova. Turnover number 3 for the Huskies, and a ragged start.
Yeah, neither team is really in sync right now. That time, Bird thought Abrosimova was going to flare out to the 3-point line, which she will do on occasion.
And an early substitution. Kenitra Johnson will replace Shea Ralph. Ralph on Saturday against Rutgers had just 4 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. And we'll keep our eye on, looks like Shea is taking off that right sneaker. So
yeah, it's not a good sign when she goes right down to the end of the bench. But it looks like she's retying her shoe, and she puts tape across her shoelaces, but she's taking her whole shoe off. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Huskies in a 2-3 zone. So Gino Auriemma with a rare zone look early in the game. Rare for UConn, that is. Kenitra Johnson with the rebound. She finds the middle to Bird, who runs it down, but then slips on the end line. Turnover number 4 for the Huskies as we look at Shea Ralph.
And Rosemary Regal, the trainer, I think is just retaping her ankle a bit tighter. Looks like maybe Shea twisted that ankle.
She does look like she's wincing a bit. Johnson deflects the pass. Mergen runs it down, gets it across the Bowles, but on the ricochet, picked off by Abrosimova. Very sloppy start here tonight at Alumni Hall for both teams. A lot of these errant passes, Megan, aren't really being forced by the defense.
No, there are a lot of unforced errors going on here, and I don't know if both teams, especially the Huskies, maybe don't have the right game face on. That's usually what unforced errors means, that mentally you're just not in it.
Shot clock down to 7. Abrosimova finds Schumacher down low. She spins, the obvious travel, and that's turnover number 5 for UConn. And they've turned the ball over on 4 consecutive possessions.
Well, the problem when Schumacher is getting the ball down low, she's not thinking score immediately. She's thinking pass, and it's tough to get into offense You've got to command the respect and score down low. Then you can kick the ball.
Only her 4th start of the season, but her 3rd in a row. She started opening day against Iowa and didn't start again until a week ago against Miami. Schumacher may have had a piece of that Miles shot. Here comes Johnson. We've played more than 4 minutes, and we've seen a grand total of 4 points scored. Bird misses the 3. Rebound in traffic to Cash with the putback.
And that's Swin Cash. That's what she's going to bring you. Hustle plays, offensive rebounding, stick it back in.
Cash coming off a subpar effort against Rutgers. Here's Bird with the steal and dish to Cash.
Well, you say subpar, but late in that game, Cash made some big plays and had 4 straight points at a critical time.
And a timeout is called by first-year coach Darcel Estep. 15.5 remaining first half. 6-2 early lead for the Huskies. Alumni Hall, where it's been a turnover-laden early 4.5 minutes, but a nice play at the defensive end by Sue Bird.
Well, nice anticipation by Bird in that full court pressure, and you see she picks her head up and knows what she's going to do with the ball before she even gets it. The nice dish to Cash, who has the easy lay-in.
And there are just a few members of Sue Bird's family and friends here tonight. She comes from Syosset, which is near only 30 minutes away. And what's the count, Megan? 375 approximately?
I said, Sue, how many people are going to be here? Thinking she'd say, you know, maybe 20, 30, 40. She said a couple hundred. I go, you're kidding? No, like 200, 300, maybe 400. They sold tickets at her school.
Yeah,
so
Christ the King High School. They sold a couple hundred tickets there alone.
Yeah, and then friends, people from her town.
Here's Cash with the steal. Johnson puts it on the floor. Nice play by Bowles to knock it loose. Cash tries to save and does. Shot clock at 20. Bird goes to pull up, and we get our first foul of the night. It will be on, let's see, Gianna Bowles and Mergen were both there. It will be Bowles who picks it up.
That was a nice play by Bird that time. Dribble penetration, especially when the defense is a little bit offset. The team hasn't been shooting that well. Always a good decision to get into the lane, make something happen.
Bird is a terrific free throw shooter. She's now 35 of 38 from the line on the year. Asia Jones, the 6'2 sophomore. Talk about a homecoming. Homecoming for Sue Bird tonight. It was homecoming for Asia Jones Saturday in her hometown of Piscataway, New Jersey, where Schumacher sits down.
But Sue's got a lot more fans here than Asia did. They're still unhappy that she's left Piscataway.
Well, the problem is that Rutgers, I say problem, you put that in quotes there, is that Rutgers sells a lot of tickets to the home fans. They don't sell a whole lot of tickets here for St. John's. So most of the people in the building, the overwhelming majority of people in the building tonight, are rooting for the visiting Huskies. Away from the play, we're going to get a whistle by Dennis DeMeo, and Stacy Hansmeyer will be whistled for the foul on the screen as she gets on the board quickly. Her first and one on the Huskies.
Yeah, I don't know if that was, I didn't see it, if she was posting up. I think she was trying to post up down there, and Dennis called her for the arm, just flailing a bit too much. See, when you post up, you got to use your body. Do it with your feet and your butt.
And we get our first official timeout of the evening. 14:53 to go in the first half. UConn leads St. John's 7-2. For UConn, 5 minutes in at Alumni Hall. Well, would like to know the status of Shea Ralph. We are told she rolled her right ankle. It's the same injury she suffered against Miami, and she may or may not be back. I think the fact that she's sitting next to Chris Daly is a more encouraging sign than her seat at the other end of the bench. But we'll keep our eye on it.
And she only had 4 points Saturday, and she has a tendency when she scores low in one game, the next game she comes back and really lights it up.
Only took 5 shots in 34 minutes against Rutgers. Bowles knocked loose by Hansmeyer, taken away by Bird. Has a Brosimova head on the right, but the reach-in foul will be called. The trip will be called on St. John's. It will be on Yukisha Aitan. That will be her first and second on the Red Storm, and we'll get our first look of the evening at Ana Pericic, a 6'1 senior from Zagreb, Croatia, who replaces Aitan. Brosimova to Asia Jones. This is Hansmeyer. Brosimova looks down low, then dribble drives right by Thompson. Feeds Jones, who wasn't expecting it. I don't know why.
Well,
turnover number 6.
Well, oftentimes when a Brosimova goes to the hoop, she doesn't give it up. She's got a scoring mentality. She just goes to the basket to score.
And good news is Shea Ralph does return, replacing Bird. So it will be Johnson and Ralph at the guards, and Abrosimova, Hansmeyer, and Jones up front for the Huskies. St. John's still sitting on 2 points, 6 minutes into the game. And we'll get a foul on the Huskies. Their second. And the first on Ralph. Shea scored 30 points against St. John's the last time these two teams played in the Big East quarterfinals last February 28th at Rutgers. Bowles for three. Long rebound weak side to Abrosimova. Here comes UConn. 5 on 3. Ralph to Hansmeyer. Can't finish. Rebound Jones. And she'll draw the foul.
It's good to see Jones getting involved, quite like Swin Cash. The hustle plays. Jones has perhaps more offensive moves when she gets the ball in the post than anyone else, but sometimes doesn't have the confidence to back that up. It's nice to see her running the floor, grabbing an offensive board, getting fouled, putting it back up.
First foul on Tanya Mergen, and number 3 on St. John's as Asia Jones makes the first of 2. On the year, Asia only 57% from the free throw line.
Which is hard to believe because you look at her stroke. Very smooth, great follow through, nice rotation on the ball.
Coming off a 9-point effort, made all 4 of her shots Saturday against Rutgers in 14 minutes. Bowles dribbles right past Hansmeyer. Misses the shot. Rebound inside Mergen. Let's see who touched it last. The Huskies did. So we've played 6.5 minutes and St. John's has scored 2 points. Well, we said up top that they had trouble scoring, but we didn't anticipate this. They averaged 61 per game, and look at this. Kenitra Johnson, no one will catch her. Fastest player on the UConn team. So the errant pass for the Red Storm results in an easy UConn hoop and a 9-point lead. And finally, Bowles breaks the drought with her first bucket.
That's what UConn's defense will do to you, especially when they extend it full court. It's very difficult to complete a pass, let alone get a shot off.
St. John's went 5.5 minutes without scoring before Bowles hit. Nice feed inside Jones. Misses the little jump hook. Ralph with the rebound. Out to Johnson. To Ralph. Jones spins on Mergen, then shoots over her. Rebound hit up high by Hansmeyer. Breakout Thompson goes by Abrosimova but misses the layup. And Jones will be called for the push on the rebound. That will be number 1 on Asia and number 3 on the Huskies.
That was an interesting offensive possession down the other end for the Huskies. But I like the fact that Jones made an aggressive move with the basketball. The shot didn't drop, but the move and the intent was there, and that's good to see.
Now the foul is not on Jones, it's on Ralph. It's her second, so she'll have to sit down with 2 fouls as Pericic is called for the travel on the left. 8th turnover for St. John's, so this time Ralph sitting down not because of the ankle but because of the 2 personal fouls. Look at the look of intensity on her face. Almost looks like Chris Daly's trying to loosen her up, but it's not working, Chris. Tell her a joke. Funny thing.
No, then you'd have to have Gino tell the joke. He's better at telling jokes than Chris.
This is Johnson, and Johnson's called for traveling. This is 8 turnovers for UConn. We've seen 16 turnovers and 15 points in this game. The thing about Shea is that away from the court, she jokes all the time. We always see her joking constantly in pregame warmups, but not once they throw it up. Bowles misses the shot, and there for the putback is Aisha Smith. She's a 6'2 sophomore. She's the 2nd leading rebounder in the Big East, and she spent the first 8 minutes on the bench. Foul will be called on St. John's. That's number 4 on the Red Storm, the first on Smith.
Yeah, she's a big physical post player. That time just got caught pushing.
Bird to inbound on the side. Stacey Hansmeyer getting some work, but it looks like it's just a Band-Aid. I think she was bleeding, so she had to leave the game. But Rosemary's been busy, hasn't she?
Yeah, then she doesn't like to be working during the game.
Cash puts it on the floor, can't get it to go. The rebound, Jones no good. Another rebound, much better.
Yeah, we're seeing a new Asia Jones the last couple games. She's had solid practices, getting her confidence up.
Bowles beats the trap. Being chased by Abrosimova. Smith, not only the second leading rebounder in the Big East, she's tied. She has 7 double-doubles. That's tied for the most in the league. On the right, Pericic for 3. She is their best three-point shooter, at least percentage-wise. Here comes Bird. Stop and go dribble, leaves for Abrosimova, and turnover number 9 for the Huskies. And we have a timeout. 11:19 to go in a very sloppy first half here in New York. It's UConn by 7. 13-6. The Huskies have turned it over 9 times in the first 8.5 minutes. And during that timeout, Gino Auriemma very disturbed with Karen Wilhite's travel call on Abrosimova.
See, it was kind of tough to see that, but Abrosimova gets called a lot of times.
There's Karen Wilhite.
With travel calls, and oftentimes they're not walks. It was tough to see that time.
Chatted yesterday with Darcel Estep, the first-year coach here at St. John's, who said, I thought we would be more seasoned by now, would have a better understanding of our new system, but it's taken longer for players to grasp that system than I hope. She also said, there's Darcel, she'd be very surprised if Gino Auriemma weren't standing at center court in Philadelphia the first weekend in April holding up the national championship trophy. She said, I firmly believe UConn's best team in the country. Now Bowles throws up the shot and draws the foul from Kenitra Johnson. That will be her first, and number 4 on UConn.
She put a sick move on KJ. Bowles with a nice crossover broke Kenitra Johnson down. And then Johnson, being off balance, fouled Bowles on the jumper.
Bowles, a 5'5" sophomore from Martin Luther King High School in Detroit. Like most of her teammates, came off a nightmare performance Saturday at Notre Dame. 1 for 7 from the floor. She had 6 turnovers and fouled out in only 22 minutes. Of course, most of Notre Dame's opponents this year have experienced a nightmare playing the Irish. They've won 17 in a row and appear headed for a showdown with UConn for the Big East regular season title a week from Saturday. Nice look inside to Asia Jones.
Abrosimova with a nice feed inside.
And the Red Storm turns it over on the inbound pass. Svetlana Abrosimova, 11th in the Big East in assists, and here's an illustration why.
She does a nice job of seeing the whole floor, and she pulled it out knowing that she was going to dump it in there to Jones. The good players see plays develop before they actually do.
Bird feeds Cash down low to Abrosimova, who's hacked, and Svetlana will go to the free throw line. She's making her 66th consecutive start tonight.
The Huskies are going to continue to expand on this lead by attacking the basket. Get the ball down low along that baseline and then dive down and see if St. John's can guard. It's very tough to guard players who are cutting off the ball.
So Abrosimova at the free throw line makes the first as Shea Ralph returns with 2 personal fouls, replacing Kenitra Johnson. That foul, by the way, was on Merchant, her 2nd and 4 on the club. We mentioned Notre Dame. The Irish will play at Villanova tomorrow night. That's a tough one, and then an even tougher one at Rutgers on Saturday. If they can get by those two, really nothing in the way between a showdown between 2 undefeated teams in conference play on February 26th at noon at the Hartford Civic Center.
And that will be a dandy.
And we'll have it for you right here on CPTV. Up high, it's Smith. Turns and hits the shot. Aisha Smith, a 6'2" sophomore, like her teammate Bowles, is from Detroit. Abrosimova feeds Cash, puts it on the floor. Up high, Ralph. Down low, Jones. Great ball movement on that possession for UConn.
Asia Jones, one-on-one, cannot be guarded. Sometimes the only person who can guard her is herself. But there, she caught that ball, turned, banked it in. You cannot stop her.
She's got 8. The lead is 9. We're past the midway point of the first half. The trap employed, and Abrosimova knocks it out of bounds away from Pericic. 19 seconds to shoot for the Red Storm, who will inbound on the side.
And Pericic was screaming at her teammates, I need help.
Inbound pass to Latasha Thompson. Seeing a lot of zone tonight, Megan, for the Huskies.
Yeah, this is an interesting lineup. What they can do with that, they can double team a lot.
Shot clock running down. Thompson has to get rid of it. Instead loses Abrosimova ahead to Ralph, who will go in all alone for the layup.
They play good defense and limit them to one shot. And Shea Ralph is better than anyone getting off on the break.
11-point UConn lead as we reach the 9-minute mark. The Huskies have won 3 in a row since losing their only game of the season to Tennessee. They're 11-0 in the Big East. Feed down low to Miles, no good. Rebound to Jones, outlet of Abrosimova. This time St. John's gets back quickly on defense. Kick out Bird for 3. She's second in the country in three-point shooting percentage. Jones can't get the rebound to go. And it goes out of bounds, last touch by the Huskies. Tamika Williams will check in for the Huskies. Darcel Estep spent the 3 previous years as the head coach at Morgan State, and the 5 years before that as an assistant under Harry Peretta at Villanova.
Yeah, so Darcel knows the Big East as well as anyone, even though she took 3 years away.
She was coaching at Villanova when you played for UConn, right?
Yes, she was.
It's funny, she said she doesn't remember you as a player. Just kidding. Lead pass to Ralph, puts it on the floor and draws the foul as she is absolutely hammered. And gets up very slowly, almost in pieces.
It's hard to see if it's the ankle or the knee.
Well, she clearly, you know, hesitated to draw the foul, which, you know, she does as well as anybody in the conference, but she got fouled all right.
Yeah, she got mugged. But the problem, she goes up so strong, and then the way she landed, it was tough to see if it bothered her ankle, and she's got her hand on that right ankle. I think it might be a good idea to sit that young lady down shortly and let her rest the rest of the evening.
You be the one to tell her.
Yeah, or tell him.
Ralph, the 16th leading scorer in UConn history, entering the ball game, needed 40 points to catch Chris Lamb for the number 15 spot. Svetlana Abrosimova, with her 4 points tonight, has moved ahead of Chris Gedney into the 9th place in UConn history. Svetlana really climbing the ladder in a hurry. Has it knocked away from behind and taken by Pericic. And here comes St. John's down 13 inside 8 minutes.
Huskies go back to that man-to-man.
Angela Stith, number 42 in the lineup for St. John's. What happened there? Somebody lost track, and Miles gets the basket and the foul. And Mr. Auriemma is very, very hot. And this time not at the officials.
Yeah, that's clearly an example of a lack of communication and a breakdown defensively. And all defense is communicating. And okay, not only who has her, but who's got the ball. Let's not forget the ball is the only thing that can score.
At the free throw line, Miles completes the three-point play, and we have a timeout. 7:42 to go in the half. Svetlana Abrosimova, Shea Ralph and the Huskies up 10. Megan Pattison back in Jamaica, New York. UConn leads St. John's by 10, make it 12 as Shea Ralph deposits one at the bank.
What a great move that was, too. She jump stopped and then stepped through with the right foot, keeping her pivot foot down and banking it in. That was a nice move to step by the defense.
Ralph, 5th leading scorer in the Big East, leads the Huskies. Up high, Smith. Nice feed down low to Miles, who juggles. Pericic back out top to Smith. Shot clock at 5. Smith finds Stith on the right, puts it on the floor, has it partially blocked. Miles with the putback, no good, and a shot clock violation on the Red Storm. Dennis DeMeo is telling Darcel Estep that the shot by Stiff was blocked and did not hit the rim, and thus the clock did not recycle. At least that's his story, and he's sticking to it. Ralph has scored the last 6 UConn points. Huskies up by a dozen. Kenitra Johnson for 3. Back rims it, and a whistle away from the ball. And a foul will be called
Personal foul number 34
on
Tamika
Williams. That's her first. Tamika had a rare game Saturday against Rutgers. She played 9 minutes. She took only 1 shot. She did not score, and she did not get a rebound. She had missed the 2 previous games with a sore foot, and on the inbound, we'll get another foul on UConn. Foul's starting to add up here.
Wow, this was, I think, the foul. I think Kenitra Johnson breathed on someone. That's how insignificant that contact was.
Kenitra's second, 7 on the Huskies, so St. John's will shoot some free throws. Gino's sticking with the suit coat well into the first half.
Well,
normally that sucker's gone.
Yeah, with some of the plays that have gone on here, I'm surprised he hasn't taken that puppy off. It's a good look, though.
Tastefully done. The blue and blue works. Smith makes the first free throw. She's the 11th best free throw shooter in the Big East. Has led the Red Storm in scoring 5 times this year. So the UConn lead is 10. So UConn scored 49 Saturday against Rutgers and sitting on 25 here with 6.5 to go in the half. Williams baseline, no good. Rebound comes out, and here comes the Red Storm 2-on-1 with Thompson over Johnson. Rebound Williams. Obrosimova on the right. Looks down low for Schumacher. Crowd wanted a walk. Pass into the post is stolen by Smith. That's 11 turnovers for UConn.
Just a poor decision there by Johnson. Schumacher was fronted in the low post. I don't know if she was screened and didn't see the defender step in front.
Smith spins, shoots over to Tamika Williams. Rebound Obrosimova. She's had a bunch. 6 rebounds for Obrosimova, the junior from St. Petersburg, Russia. Nice feed inside, so Williams has it knocked away. Loose. Johnson picks it up, and she is clipped accidentally by Miles, but nevertheless a foul and away from the play. Gianna Bowles is writhing on the floor in agony for St. John's.
Well, great pass.
And that's why, because she caught at Tamika Williams' elbow right in the chops. Oof.
And she is bleeding. Jill Christensen, the trainer there.
And Darcel Estep also out to take a look. She's only 5'5", and Tamika Williams is 6'2", so when the elbow came down, it landed in a vulnerable spot and has drawn some blood.
And you know that it's an awfully painful situation, but when you put your hands to your face and you come back and you see blood, it's even scarier.
I'm sure it's nothing serious, but try convincing her of that right now. So Darcel Estep is spending this entire timeout tending to her injured player.
Well, Bob,
in the first half, as they continue to work on Gianna Bowles for St. John's, it's UConn leading it by a score of 25-15. Megan, we mentioned, as the UConn fans are here in full force as they've made the trip down from Connecticut. Not a very long trip, depending upon which part of Connecticut you live in. We mentioned the Notre Dame-UConn showdown, and Notre Dame has a couple of roadblocks, both on the road with Villanova and Rutgers coming up. But if the Irish can get by those two, we're going to have a situation that's very similar to a year ago when the Big East regular season title came down to UConn at Rutgers in February. UConn won the game. They had already lost a game before that in the conference to Boston College, and by winning that game, that was the tiebreaker, and the Huskies were the #1 seed in the Big East tournament. This time, it could be winner take all because we could have both teams undefeated in conference play when they get together a week from Saturday.
And that's what's so great now about the Big East, that there's so much more parity, and with Notre Dame being undefeated right now, that'll make that game just an unbelievable basketball game to watch. It's going to be a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, indeed. And the Irish have accomplished so much since joining the Big East 5 years ago, led by a trip to the Final Four a couple of years ago. But one thing the Irish have never done is beat UConn.
And sometimes it does. It becomes a mental thing, Bob. It's not that they haven't had talent. I mean, as you said,
Well,
they
they've
went
had
to the
great
Final
talent.
Four. They've had some great talent play there.
And they still have great talent. Ruth Riley, they have arguably the best post player in the Big East. A terrific freshman in Alicia Rattay.
Shea Raff looks to be in a lot of pain there on the bench.
Now the delay right now is because they're wiping up some blood on the floor. And while they do, we'll tell you that this copyrighted telecast is produced by authority of CPTV and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or any other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without express written consent of CPTV is strictly prohibited.
Thank you for your help.
St. John's coming off a 94-51 loss at Notre Dame last Saturday, and the Red Storm will host Villanova this Saturday, so that will be a reunion of sorts for Darcel Estep and her former boss Harry Peretta. As we mentioned, Darcel was an assistant at Villanova from 91 through 96. And then St. John's, very unusual this late in the season to be playing a non-conference game, but a week from tonight they will visit 16th ranked Old Dominion. Of course, UConn defeated earlier this season in the championship game of the Coaches versus Cancer Challenge way back on Thanksgiving weekend in Hartford. That seems like 3 or 4 years ago, doesn't it?
It does. My goodness.
Down low, the pass intended for Miles, but goes right through the lane and out of bounds.
Huskies again in a little 2-3 zone. This is a nice game for them to work that defense. Work on some of the traps and different nuances that you run out of it.
Anitra Johnson. Brosimova up high, puts it on the floor, dribbles by Smith and hits the pull-up for her 5th and 6 points of the night.
Brosimova is just so smooth.
As we've mentioned several times this year, having an outstanding year. Her statistics are down somewhat from a year ago, but her all-round play has improved dramatically. Much better ball handler, much better defensive player.
Yeah, I think she's a better basketball player overall.
Pass inside to Miles. Kick out Thompson, time running down. Just beats the shot clock, and a rebound for Sue Bird. Quickly forecourt to Johnson. Bird with the pull-up. Can't get it to go, and the rebound is pulled down by Miles. Bird with only 1 point in the ballgame. No good rebound, Tamika Williams. We approach the 4-minute mark. It's UConn by 14. St. John's has not defeated UConn in 7 years. Last time it happened was right here. Held ball in the lane, possession arrow pointing towards St. John's. Swin Cash will come in for UConn. Yukisha Aiton for St. John's. There goes the coat. Coat's gone now. Timeout. 3:57 to go first half. UConn up by 14. UConn leads the Red Storm by a score of 29-15. The Huskies looking for their 23rd win of the season, also looking for their 23rd consecutive win against a Big East opponent.
Championship ballroom dancing returns to CPTV tomorrow night at 8. I cannot wait.
You know how to ballroom dance?
No.
No?
You put a ball in a room, I might be able to just dance around. It wouldn't look very good.
Smith in the lane with the short jumper. It's UConn by a dozen, 3.5 remaining first half. Jones finds Bird. It's been a very quiet homecoming so far for Sue Bird. Nice look. Brosimova to Cash. Cash follows her own miss, and a new shot clock for the Huskies. The pass out to Bird. Thompson tried to take it away and deflected it out of bounds. It will be UConn ball with 27 seconds left on the shot clock, and that was almost a very nasty collision. Bird has missed all 4 of her shots from the floor. On the year, Bird is a 52% shooter. Johnson on the dribble drive.
See, St. John's has extended that 3-2 zone. Terrific decision to dribble, penetrate, and get in there.
This is Aiton in the forecourt, gives up the dribble, don't want to do that. The trap works, here comes Bird, 4-on-4. On the right, the no-look pass to Cash. Kick out Johnson for 3. Back rims it, and Jones will be called for the foul on the rebound. That is her first, and that should be 8 on the Huskies, and will walk down the other end of the floor to shoot some free throws. Looks like Asia lost her contact lens.
She got cracked in the face, but her contact got all messed up. Nice trap. Subird rips the ball away, off to the races, but St. John's does a nice job of getting back into the lane and didn't give up a layup on the break.
There's a welcome sight as Paige Sauer returns for the Huskies after missing the 2 previous games with a sprained foot. Sauer did not start opening day, but then started 20 consecutive games before the injury, as Jones goes to the bench to reinsert that contact lens. When we said she lost it, she fortunately was able to catch it on the way down. It popped out of the eye. Shot by Miles, no good. On the rebound, Smith runs it down for St. John's. Up top, Thompson, pull up. Rebound, Cash. Bird on the left. St. John's in the zone. Down low, Cash. Reversal to Bird. Ball fake, pull up. Her first basket of the night.
They did it, changing sides of the floor, throwing skip passes, dribble penetrate into the gap, and who better off the dribble than Subird.
UConn back in the zone as well. Bird gets her hand on that pass to Smith, who puts it on the floor. And a foul will be called, I believe, on Sauer.
Yeah, before the shot.
For 1 on Page, and that's 9 on the Huskies. So to the free throw line will go Aisha Smith, who has led her team in rebounding 16 times this year. St. John's 6 of 7 from the line thus far tonight.
Yeah, Smith is an excellent post player because she's not only is she big and physical, but she's quick. She can hit the 15-footer, but yet she can take you to the basket as well.
Second shot by Smith, also good. She's got 10 points off the bench. 13-point UConn lead with 1:46 to go. And Smith at 6'2" is playing at the head of that 3-2 zone.
Makes it tough to throw entry passes.
Instead, it's Bird on the wing. Perhaps she's heating up. Her first 3 of the night, and her team leading 48th of the season. The other end, it's Parachich, no good. Rebound, Aiton, who falls down. That should be a travel. And Dennis DeMeo. Now, who was the travel on? Eventually, they called the travel.
The makeup call?
When you have the ball and you fall down, it's supposed to be an automatic travel, isn't it?
That's what I always thought.
14th turnover for St. John's as we approach the 1-minute mark.
Look out at the Huskies start knocking down threes.
So Brosimova had a wide open look, hits the rim and goes up over the top of the backboard and out of bounds. We have an out-of-town score at Rutgers, somewhat of a surprise with 5 minutes left. Syracuse leading Rutgers 49-38. The Huskies will play Syracuse Friday night on senior night at Gamble Pavilion. 7:30 here on CPTV. Right side, Aiton for 3, no good. Long rebound run down by Parachich. Inside the final minute. Miles gets inside Sauer and the foul. Number 2 on Page, and Miles with a chance for a 3-point play.
That's just too easy. Getting the ball into the middle of the lane Now, Sauer, I don't know what kind of foul that was. Maybe the left hand on the body with the foul, but the bottom line is you can't let the player get the ball in that position past you in the lane.
Sauer leaves with 2 fouls replaced by Hansmeyer, and it will be Hansmeyer and Sauer who will be honored on senior night before the Syracuse game on Friday. That's always a very emotional ceremony, and we will have it for you live on CPTV this Friday night. Bird 3, no good. Rebound run down by Cash, but she may have stepped on the end line.
But terrific hustle there by Cash to try to run it down.
UConn averaging 83 points per game, coming off the 49-point effort against Rutgers. Of course, Rutgers does a good job of holding all teams' points down because of their style of play. Inside, it's Miles. She's got 5 points in a hurry, and all of a sudden, St. John's is within only 11. Shot clock is off with 15 seconds to go in the half.
I think there's nobody more surprised here than the UConn Huskies.
Throws him over, throws it up from the left, no good, and Hansmeyer will be called for the foul on the rebound. And UConn is in the double bonus, so St. John's will be shooting 2 with a chance to pull within 9 with 4 seconds left.
Well, the look on his face says it all. A little bit of self-destruction here by the Huskies. Defensively with some lapses that you're not used to seeing. And then coming up on the offensive end, Abrosimova jacks up that shot with 9 seconds to go. And then the senseless foul by Hansmeyer.
Pericic makes the free throw for Darcel Estep's club. So St. John's with 7 quick points. Full court pressure. This is Bird to Johnson. She beats the clock but can't get it to go. So a 7-0 St. John's run. Big first half for Asia Jones of the Huskies, who had 8 points. We're halfway home, and UConn leads St. John's 36-27. Picozzi back at Alumni Hall in Jamaica, New York. We're at the half. Top-ranked UConn leads St. John's 36-27. Megan Pattison standing by with associate head UConn coach Chris Daly.
Thank you, Bob. Here with Chris Daly. Not the usual score we're used to seeing at halftime. You guys had, I think, a 16-point lead. What happened there at the end of that half?
Well, I think we made a couple substitutions that didn't pan out the way we wanted them to, and we didn't score. We held them defensively, but we didn't score, and we didn't take advantage of that lead.
Okay, any word on Shea Ralph's foot or ankle, and will we see her in the second half?
I believe it's her foot. No, we will not see her this second half. We're going to take a look at it. I said she's a little tender, and we'll go. Our trainer said that she's a no-go for the second half.
Okay, now I do want to ask you quickly about the Rutgers game. The elbow to Gino's nose, was that planned?
No. And if I knew it would get me on SportsCenter, I would have done it years ago, but I didn't realize I did it. I was telling the kids to box out, and he walked up behind me, and he got a good shot.
Yeah, it was a very good shot. It went back to the old playing days. Chris, thanks so much. Good luck in the second half. Bob?
All right, Megan, thank you very much. The way UConn played down the stretch in the first half, I wouldn't suggest that Chris try that elbow move right now. As we look at Shea Ralph, as Chris just explained, we will not see Shea for the rest of the ball game. She has that right foot and ankle area heavily iced. Ralph in the first half had 6 points, made both of her shots from the floor. As UConn fell victim to a 7-0 St. John's run to end the half. And Megan, we look at the first half highlights. Aisha Smith with a good effort off the bench.
Well, you know, it's impressive there. The numbers that we see, yeah, 10 points, 4 points for Smith, but some of the good plays for the Huskies early was getting involved, getting good rotation, change sides of the floor, and dumping it inside to Asia Jones.
Who had 8.
Yeah, that worked pretty well there in that first half.
She had 8 points and 5 rebounds in 10 minutes off the bench. Second half begins. It's UConn ball, and it doesn't begin very well as Bird went for a backdoor cut, and Schumacher didn't anticipate it. And a turnover for the Huskies. Turnover number 13. First half highlights. St. John's shot 27% from the floor and is yet within striking range.
Well, look at that. 1 of 8 from three-point range for the Huskies. Now, they shot better from the free throw line than they did Saturday, so that's a good step forward. but they seem to be struggling of late from behind the arc.
Inside, it's Miles. Kick out to Iton for the right side jumper, and it's a 9-0 St. John's run. And the lead is 7.
You can just feel the momentum in here, but that St. John's really feels like they have a chance to win this game.
Schumacher up high, didn't take a shot in the first half. Abrosimova finds Cash at the baseline, misses the shot. Good box out by the Red Storm, and the rebound eventually picked up by Tanya Mergent. This is Thompson, gives to Gianna Bowles, who is back in the lineup, wearing number 5. Rebound by Bird. You see the bandage on Bowles' forehead. She was cut there in the first half. Johnson to Schumacher. Abrosimova, great ball fake, puts it on the floor, gives to the cutter Cash.
Terrific ball movement again. I talked about it at halftime, side to side. Move the ball from the right to the left, inside, outside. When you move the ball like that, you're tough to stop.
Abrosimova with her 3rd assist of the night to go along with her 6 points and 6 rebounds. Inside Mergent, blocked by Schumacher. And Schumacher on the 2nd shot attempt will be called for her 2nd foul of the evening and 1st on UConn this half.
That happens sometimes. If you block a shot, and that time Mergent got it back. And shot blockers, all they want to do is block shots. And more often than not, if the offensive player is smart, they will get a foul call.
Schumacher will depart, replaced by Asia Jones. Schumacher with 11 blocks in her last 2 games and 35 on the season. She leads UConn and is 7th in the Big East in that department. So St. John's pulls within 7 again. Abrosimova to Bird. Loses the handle. It's stolen by Thompson. Ahead of the field to Bowles. Too far. Bowles tries to save and can't. So a golden opportunity that time for St. John's goes awry.
And that turnover on offense by Bird, I saw a sense of urgency about Bird that I don't normally see, and she kind of hurried up a little bit, and I think that's why the turnover happened.
Abrosimova up top to Kenitra Johnson. Pass intended for Jones, deflected, stolen by Bowles. UConn gets back very quickly defensively, and Bird picks her pocket. Here's Bird, 2-on-1 if they hurry. Cash is the trailer, and Bird makes the shot over the much taller Miles.
Bird played that perfectly on the break there with Miles running back on defense with her back to Bird. Bird just played her and then kissed the ball off the glass.
8 points for Bird. Johnson deflects the pass out of bounds. Final score, Syracuse losing to Rutgers 56-51 up at Syracuse. So Rutgers comes from behind for the win, and Syracuse will visit Gamble Pavilion on Friday night. It's senior night at UConn, and you'll see the senior night ceremonies and the game beginning at 7:30 here on CPTV.
Well, it looks like both teams, Rutgers and UConn, having a little letdown tonight.
Bowles misses the shot. Long rebound to Bird, who looks for something in transition. Cross court of Abrosimova. Nice feed inside to Asia Jones, but she missed the layup.
That was a sick pass from Svetlana Abrosimova. Unfortunately, she doesn't get credited with an assist. Jones got bumped and used her left hand, but just didn't get it high enough on the glass.
Aisha Smith returns for St. John's, replacing Miles. Smith 10 points off the bench in the first half to lead the Red Storm. Bird, left hand feed into the post to Jones, who uses the left hand herself.
That's what I'm talking about with a one-on-one move inside when Jones gets the ball. When she goes aggressively to the hoop, Bob, no one can stop her.
10 points for the sophomore from Piscataway, New Jersey. UConn in the 2-3 zone. Up 11. We've played 3.5 minutes second half. Mergent. Foul line to Smith. On the left, Thompson. Ball fake, gets by Cash and the pull-up. Gets her own rebound and uses the right hand. She's a lefty, but she used the offhand.
Well, they did the right thing by forcing her to go to her right hand, because that's a scouting report. She likes to drive left, but you got a box.
Johnson for 3. First 3 of the evening for Johnson, and her 29th of the season. She's got 4 points, or make it 9 points. 12-point UConn lead. St. John's comes back no good. Long rebound to Cash, and Cash is fouled. Now that's just a plain silly foul by Bowles. About, would you say 82, 83 feet from the hoop she's defending?
Well, it was a crazy shot to start off the offense.
We have our first official timeout of the second half. 15:55 left. The UConn lead is a dozen. UConn has opened up a 12-point lead over the Red Storm.
Here's your chance to see the nation's top 20 female high school senior basketball players representing the future of women's college basketball. Players like Sue Bird, Swin Cash, Kenitra Johnson, and Shea Ralph have all played in this wonderful game. Ticket information is available by calling Ticketmaster or by visiting the Hartford Civic Center box office. Join our corporate sponsor and team captain, the Phoenix, and the WBCA, the Women's Basketball Coaches Association, for a great afternoon of hoops. That's April 8th at the Hartford Civic Center.
And speaking of Swin Cash, she follows up her own miss for her 7th and 8th points of the evening. 14-point UConn lead. Iton shot no good, and Cash with the rebound. Here's Johnson, who's seeing lots of playing time with Ralph out for the remainder of the game, with what Chris Daly described as a foot injury. Inside it's Jones, and she's called for traveling.
But that was a good aggressive move. You don't mind that.
Right. Pericic coming in for St. John's as we look at Shea Ralph, who in the first half played a total of 10 minutes, or make it 9 minutes, made both of her shots from the floor, both from the line. 6 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, and she's done for the rest of the night.
You know, and if it's not an ankle injury, then it's some sort of foot thing. And Bob, there have been so many weird foot injuries all season long. You know, Tamika Williams had surgery. Sue Bird was out for a little while. Swin Cash has had some issues. And then teams around the country have too.
Right. Last year, Cash missed 12 games with a stress fracture. Good ball movement by UConn. Down low, it's Cash. And she gets hammered by Smith. Number 2 on Aisha Smith.
Well, Cash used her body well here. She sized up, saw the defense was coming in from the high side, backed in so she can turn to the basket and protect the ball with her body.
So Cash will go to the free throw line. Last season, in the only regular season meeting between these two teams, Cash recorded the first double-double of her college career against St. John's on December 13th, 1998. That was at Gamble, 15 points and 11 rebounds. She's got 2 double-doubles this season.
And as she continues to work on her game and get stronger, she will have many more double-doubles.
10 points for Cash. The UConn lead now up to 16. It was 9 at the half. It was 7 early in the second half. Bowles defended by Bird, and will shoot from the top of the circle. No good. Long rebound. Smith runs it down, and a fresh 30 seconds on the shot clock for the Red Storm. Bowles knocked by Bird off Bowles' knee. Pericic runs it down. Now Smith tries to go on Cash. Spin, shoots over her. No good. Rebound. Abrosimova. Number 8 for Abrosimova. Perhaps headed for another double-double. Bird gets the friendly roll. And her 9th and 10th points. And Darcel Estep calls timeout with 13:38 to go. And UConn with its biggest lead of the night at 18.
Well, this is sort of like a home game for Sue Bird, so she got the home roll there.
Right. Played her high school ball at Christ the King in Syosset, New York, about a half hour away. She played on 2 state championship teams there.
With moves like this, keeps her head up when she dribbles, the crossover, and she hits the floor with the jump stop, but explodes up into her shot. Extremely difficult to defend, and makes that move with confidence, which a lot of young girls playing basketball don't make that move. They don't practice that move. And Sue Bird, as I've said many times, is better at that particular type of move than anyone in the country.
Bird is 6th in the Big East in field goal shooting percentage. Was just 2 for 8 from 3-point range in Saturday's win at Rutgers. Played 36 minutes. She missed her first 3 shots tonight and has made the last 4. And we see the UConn shooting percentage has picked up since the beginning of the second half. And so, by the way, has the lead. Just a coincidence.
Yeah, those things usually go hand in hand.
Thompson defended by Bird as UConn has gone man-to-man defensively the last couple of St. John's possessions. Smith doubled, finds Pericic, no good. Rebound by Cash. She's really controlling the boards. Unfortunately, her pass winds up in my hands.
So he looked at me and said, Meg, what are the chances of that? Good hands by you, though, to knock it down, Bob. You're very quick off the chair. I'm very impressed with your agility. Notice I just sat here. Maybe it's all the cookies I've eaten.
Well, when it comes to those cookies and that plate that was brought us at halftime, that's when I really displayed the quickness. You reach for one before me, you're liable to lose a hand. Traveling call on St. John's. And now official Benita Spence notices that evidently the blood is seeping through the bandage on the forehead of Gianna Bowles, so she will have to come out to get that situation fixed. She caught a Tamika Williams elbow in the forehead in the first half and left for the remainder of the half. That's why she's wearing a different uniform number, because her number 11 has blood on it, so she's wearing number 5, and they'll have to try to get the bleeding stopped again. Both literally and figuratively, by the way.
Absolutely. St. John's again in that 3-2 zone, trying to extend it, take away the outside shot.
Cash, who's had a terrific second half. Johnson for 3, no good. Rebound to Brosimova, her 9th. How did they knock the foul there? And what do we have here? Now finally the foul is called on Pericic. That's her second. Brosimova goes up here. Looks like she may have been bodied. What, Pericic got called for the rebound foul on the elbow?
I guess so.
Brosimova for 3, and with that basket she moves ahead of Peggy Walsh into 8th place on the career scoring list at UConn. Long rebound run down by Bird. It's a 2-on-2 with Johnson. Bird with the pull-up, and it's been all UConn as the Huskies have opened up a 23-point lead. 12 points for Bird.
And you know, you saw that shot on the bench. They're doing it. They're extending this lead with a lot of good players on the bench.
Smith's shot blocked by Jones, but she'll be called for the foul with the body. Number 2 on Asia. So Svetlana Abrosimova with 9 points tonight. That gives her 1,415 in her career. She began the night as the 10th leading scorer in UConn history. She has moved ahead of Chris Gedney. Now she's moved into 8th place ahead of Peggy Walsh, who now is known as Peggy Myers and works in Gino Auriemma's office.
She does, and she was responsible for putting together the alumni weekend.
Oh, she's the one.
She has done that over the last several years and does a terrific job. And you know, she was a great scorer, but Peggy had 25 rebounds in a game one time. We joked that she sharpened those elbows and would move people out of the way.
Smith hits the free throws. Timeout. 11:47 to go, and UConn has opened up a 22-point lead. Most welcome. Glad to bring you this game as well as 19 others this season, and plenty of UConn fans have made the trip in that particular section with a significant representation of folks from Syosset, New York, Sue Bird's hometown. As we mentioned, they sold a couple of hundred tickets at her high school, Christ the King, for this game. Jones down low, can't hit the tough shot in traffic. Rebound on a hop to Pericic. UConn up 22.
Bob, that's the shot offensively you got to knock down.
And Aiton does knock down the 3. That's her 3rd of the season. Aiton, a 5'11" junior college transfer from Miami-Dade Community College in South Florida. Cash on the weave, hands to Bird. Kick out Jones. This is a 3 for Asia. No good. Long rebound to Pericic. Knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Abrosimova.
I thought it went off of Pericic's leg. And I was pointing just because of the way I act like an idiot and get into it during the games, but Benita Spence, the official, ran by and she was laughing at me going, no, it was not. It's white ball.
A lot of people have that reaction, Meg. You see, they laugh. Not sure why.
Oftentimes behind my back. That's all right.
There's a foul at the defensive end on UConn. Well, a held ball and possession arrow pointing toward the Red Storm with 11 seconds left on the shot clock. Thompson to inbound. And this one is airmailed, and Abrosimova will run this one down. Leaves for the trail Cash, who lays it up no good. Cash was not expecting that. And Cash is bemoaning the fact that she wasn't ready for it. Here's Miles. He's doubled in the post. On the right, Thompson.
It's another terrific pass Abrosimova made, Bob, that she won't be credited with an assist.
Iton down low to Miles, who gets inside Jones, but is called for the offensive foul.
A little bit of acting that time, I think, by Swin Cash, although there was some contact.
It's her second.
Well, Jones went for the steal. Nice weak side help from Cash. A little bit of acting, and Miles even backed up after the contact.
That's 4 team fouls on St. John's here in the second half as we reach the midway point of the half. Inside of Abrosimova and the foul. Her 10th and 11th points of the evening, and she'll go to the line to try to complete the three-point play.
Well, Abrosimova got down the gut, and see the nice play she made, the extra effort to get by Miles, not just to be content to shoot over her, to move and get past her and bank it in with contact.
Foul number 3 on Miles, 5 on the team. Abrosimova leads UConn in rebounding and is the second leading scorer on the year. And she's got an even dozen points tonight. Scored 20 against St. John's in their only regular season meeting a year ago at Gamble. Pass into the post, stolen by Cash. It's really been the defense that's triggered this onslaught in the second half, Meg.
And quite like the game against Rutgers on Saturday, the offense struggled, but the defense kept them in the game and allowed them to win that game.
20th turnover for St. John's. Abrosimova goes behind the back, intended for Schumacher. Great reaction shot by Zveta. Not.
And his face was in his hand.
Yeah, dissimilar reaction from the coach. Here's Johnson, everybody. She just has tremendous acceleration. Turnover number 21 for St. John's. And now the lead is 24.
Beginning with her tremendous anticipation on the defensive end, stepping into that passing lane, and then exploding.
Johnson with 11. Here's a pass stolen by Abrosimova again. 22 turnovers for the Red Storm. Down low to Johnson, and as she goes up, Thompson just reaches out, and it will be an intentional foul call by Karen Wilhite. So Johnson will shoot the 2, and it will be possession as well.
Well, Cash ran ahead and did a tremendous job, as Darcelli Step wants to call a timeout, but Abrosimova with the perfect pass. And then Cash was mauled.
Yep. Foul was on Thompson, an intentional foul. That's her first foul of the evening, and 6 on the Red Storm. And when play resumes, Cash will shoot 2, and UConn will get possession after the free throws.
Well, coming up,
6 run for Gino Auriemma's club since St. John's pulled within 7 in the opening minute of the second half.
well, you had to know it was a matter of time before the depth of UConn was going to run away with this game. And, you know, this half, Shea Ralph on the bench, Stacey Hansmeyer, Paige Sauer, Tamika Williams have not seen any action, and the lead has blossomed. And that shows you just how deep this UConn team is.
Trainer Rosemary Regal again applying the ice to Shea Ralph's right foot. Cash makes the free throws, and now the Huskies will get the ball out of bounds. As I mentioned to you, Megan, off air, I wonder if this is kind of the Rutgers game hangover effect for the Huskies. That's not an excuse, but a possible explanation. You know, it's easy to say you need to take every game seriously, but when these kids are 18, 19, 20 years old, sometimes it doesn't happen.
As Asia Jones gets called for the walk.
I'll tell you one thing, kids know how to read a schedule, and they know the difference between Rutgers and St. John's.
Absolutely. And, you know, maybe some of it could be due to the fact that last night they all went to Sue Bird's mom's house.
Oh, sure. Blame it on Sue's mom.
And chowed down. They had a great time. They put on quite a cooking extravaganza.
Here's Abrosimova with the steal, and she's in all alone. It's been a terrific night for last season's Big East Player of the Year. 14 points for Abrosimova. There you see what the difference is on the fast break. Pull up by Bowles, who's back in as they have tended to that wound on her forehead. Up the floor, Johnson. Schumacher, no good. Rebound, Abrosimova, and the foul. Abrosimova with her 10th rebound of the night, giving her a double-double for the 5th time this season, and for the 12th time in her career, and back-to-back double-doubles for Svetlana.
Well, it's nice to see Schumacher be aggressive on offense, and there, Abrosimova getting after it on the offensive glass. It's good to see. And you see the anticipation defensively, just stepping in from the weak side in the passing lane.
So Abrosimova had 6 points in the first half and already has 8 this half, and with a chance to make it 9 as she tries to complete the 3-point play with 8:13 to go. And that makes it an even 30-point lead for the Huskies. Only 4 regular season games left for UConn after this one. Syracuse at home Friday, then a trip to West Virginia on February 23rd. Notre Dame a week from Saturday at the Civic Center, and then at Providence 2 nights after that. On the right, it's Bowles, and by the way, you will see all 4 remaining regular season games right here on CPTV. And there's a switch. St. John's has turned it over again. Turnover number 24 for the Red Storm. Timeout, 7:51 left. UConn up 30. Bob Picozzi, Megan Pattison back at Alumni Hall in Jamaica, New York. And I'm going to go out on a limb here, Meg, and I'm going to predict that UConn will hang on to this 30-point lead. And by doing so, the Huskies will go to 12-0 in the Big East and will move into a tie with Notre Dame for first place. The Irish will play tomorrow night at Villanova, and as we mentioned a couple of times, Notre Dame will visit UConn on February 26th, and we could have a situation where UConn is 14-0 and Notre Dame 15-0 in Big East play going into that game.
Well, I certainly hope so. That'll make that game even more fun to do, because it's for all the marbles.
Of course, the Big East tournament will be at UConn this season. Cash inside, no good, but she draws the foul. So one way or another, the Huskies will clearly have the home court advantage in the Big East tournament. Last year, Rutgers had it. UConn was the #1 seed in the Big East. The two finished 17-1 in conference play. UConn had lost at Boston College, and then by beating Rutgers at Rutgers in the regular season, the Huskies wound up tied with Rutgers at 17-1, but earned the #1 seed as a result of that regular season win over the Scarlet Knights. The Huskies have won 8 Big East tournaments, including the last 6. They've won 9 regular season Big East titles, including the last 6.
And each year it's gotten more competitive, and I think this year, without a doubt, will be the most exciting Big East tournament.
Well, there's no conference in the country as Johnson steals it. Let's see if she can beat Bowles. Oh, good hustle by Bowles, who comes right back to steal it, but stepped on the end line. There is no conference in the country that has 4 teams with as high an RPI rating as the Big East. As we take another look at Johnson and a good hustle comeback play by Bowles.
Well, Bowles did the best she could. Let's not forget how fast Kenitra Johnson is with the basketball, but she got ahead and swiped the ball away.
Abrosimova feeds Cash in the post, who feeds Schumacher inside.
Those two are developing a nice little rapport inside, Cash and Schumacher. Schumacher had a nifty pass to Swin late in the game at Rutgers.
Huge basket, which triggered an 8-0 run. A basket that somehow Schumacher was not credited with an assist for.
Which is bizarre.
St. John's comes right back. Here's the lead pass to Cash. Chases it down at the baseline. Jones feeds Schumacher up high. Brosimova with the dribble drive to Schumacher for a wide open look.
Again, another outstanding pass from Brosimova. Finally, she will be credited with an assist, with Shuey knocking down the 10-footer.
Bowles misses the shot. Brosimova with 4 assists tonight to go with her double-figure points and rebounds.
You talk about all the points this young lady scores. What a pass.
Right.
And the nice follow through and jumper there by Schumacher. Bob, Schumacher's got to be more aggressively minded on offense. She can score, but the trouble with having so many scorers on your team is you got to have role players, but you got to think shot first, then pass.
Bird replaces Johnson for UConn, and Iton with her. That's a 2. Second three-pointer of the evening. 5:54 remaining. This is Bird, defended by Bowles, spins on her.
Well,
Shot clock running down.
It's just man-to-man defense.
Bird goes up and is fouled by Bowles. So Sue will shoot a couple. In the lineup for Rutgers is Christina Jurf, a 6'2" senior from Uniondale, New York, the home of the Nassau Coliseum, the New York Islanders, and that also is about 25 minutes from here. So Bird at the free throw line. Did I say Rutgers?
Yes,
Got Rutgers on the mind. Rutgers will come from behind winner over Syracuse tonight. And Rutgers will host Notre Dame on Saturday afternoon. That ought to be a good one. Of course, the Irish stunned Rutgers in the Big East semifinals
last year. Yeah, I think Rutgers got caught looking ahead, wanting to play the #1 Huskies.
Bowles with a wild shot, no good. Rebound, Bird. This is a 5-on-3. Schumacher runs the floor, misses the shot, but look who's there to clean up. Swin Cash with an opportunity for another three-point play.
Did you see Sue Bird just knock Schumacher in the head? Like, you can make that shot. And again, another assist blown. Nice run by Schumacher. Catch a step through, but maybe a little bit more worried about the pressure there from Jurf. And Sue Bird, the leader on this team, at the point guard spot, went in there giving the knowing little pat to Shuey's head.
We mentioned earlier that Swin Cash had her first career double-double against St. John's last season. Well, with that free throw, she's got 15 points and 8 rebounds tonight, and the Huskies are 18 of 21 from the foul line. On the year, they shoot 69% from the line. It's one of the few areas that UConn does not excel in. They are 6th in the Big East in free throw shooting. And in the 9 other major categories in the Big East, the Huskies are either 1st, 2nd, or 3rd.
And they were only 7 of 18 from the line against Rutgers on Saturday. That could have made a big difference in the game.
Thompson with the shot to beat the shot clock, no good. Well, that's a weird sounding shot clock, isn't it?
How can you hear it if it's loud in this place?
Kind of like the alarm in your hotel room, which you always hate to hear, by the way.
Yeah.
Brosimova runs down the rebound and gives to Bird. Is there anything more annoying than an alarm clock sound?
No, that's why I try to go with the music. But, yeah, the point being it's waking you up, and I'd rather be sleeping.
This is Bird for 3. No good, but gets her own long rebound for 2. No good. Rebound is pulled down by Thompson. This is a 2-on-2. Across to Jurich. Back in the ball game is Angela Stiff. Saw her in the first half. 5'8" freshman from Florissant, Missouri. And we'll get a foul on the Huskies. Only their 3rd team foul this half. And we'll also get an official timeout. 3:53 to go. UConn all over St. John's by 36. Did that guy lose a bet, Megan?
No, he's like that in every game. One of the many loyal UConn fans making the trip down.
It's UConn by 36 as we look at the latest national rankings. Now, these are the Associated Press rankings. UConn receiving 31 of 44 first place votes. Tennessee with 4 first place votes. Georgia with 9. The Huskies also #1 in the ESPN USA Today poll, although Georgia's 2nd, Tennessee 3rd there. Those rankings got much closer following the UConn loss to Tennessee. That's the ESPN USA Today poll. But now this week, the 2nd week after the Tennessee loss, UConn has opened up its lead over Georgia somewhat. A 23-point lead over Georgia, and the Huskies with 25 of 40 first place votes in the ESPN poll to 10 for Georgia. And this is the 14th straight week, as we mentioned earlier, that UConn's been #1 in the country. And believe it or not, with all the success the Huskies have had in the 90s, that has never happened before. 14 weeks in a row at #1.
And if they keep going the rate they're going, they should finish out at least the regular season, which is a couple more weeks.
Well, they got that big test with Notre Dame, don't forget. Inside, it's Jurif with her first 2 of the evening. Good use of the left hand. UConn this year is 9-1 against teams ranked in the top 25 with 1 more game left against the top 25 team. And what a huge second half it has been for Swin Cash. She's got 17 points in the ball game, 13 of them here in the second half.
Well, when she can catch the ball 5-6 feet from the basket and face up and then make her move, she's pretty tough to guard because she's so quick and can spin and jump so high.
Jurif, and look at Johnson. Where did she come from? No one will catch her.
She was going so fast she almost lost the handle.
She almost outran the basketball, which happened to be in her hands at the time. So the lead now 38 as Abrosimova departs with a monster game. Another double-double for the junior from St. Petersburg, Russia. Her 2nd straight double-double, the 5th double-double of the season, and the 11th of her career. 17 points and 11 rebounds for the nominee for the Naismith National Player of the Year Award.
We've talked about the progress of Abrosimova as a player, Bob. I mean, look at across the board, her numbers are so much more well-rounded this season.
Yeah,
5 steals. I mean, she would have had a lot more assists tonight if some of her teammates could knock down some easy shots. She got them.
She's a much better all-round player now than she was, say, a year ago or even earlier this season.
Exactly.
Bowles misses the shot. Long rebound to Jurif. Handoff to Bowles at 5'5". Uh-oh. Cash, 7 inches taller, swats that one away. And to add injury to insult, it goes off of Bowles and out of bounds.
And in return, that added insult to the injury to her head.
She's already had 1 too many injuries tonight. So the lead is 38 inside 2 minutes. Johnson, ball fake, pull up from the foul line.
Well, what happened that time, Johnson had set a nice screen opening up Asia Jones inside, but forced the defense to switch, and that was what made her so wide open.
15 points for KJ, as her teammates call her. The pass by Stitt, stolen by Johnson. Uh-oh. Iton just reached out. Not sure why the foul wasn't called there. Johnson goes crashing into our cameraman and comes back on the court, gets her hands on the ball.
Good work there to maintain the action there.
Rich Angelo, yeah.
Way to go, Richie.
Looks completely poised.
Oh, yeah, it's nothing to him. Fortunately.
Well, there's a smile there.
Fortunately, KJ doesn't weigh that much.
Yeah, if you're going to pick a player on the UConn team you want to run into you, it would be KJ. You don't want that Hansmeyer running or
No.
Rigby.
No. There's a lot of them I wouldn't want to go near, or wouldn't want to come near me.
Jones with the rejection and Cash with the breakout basket. She's got 17 or 19. She's has team high honors. And we're inside final minute. And Darcel Estep wants to call time, and I imagine the message here will be, folks, the game is 40 minutes long. I'm coaching for 40 minutes, and is it asking too much for me to request that you play for 40 minutes? Because St. John's has really not had a solid effort here in the second half, particularly down the stretch. UConn up by 42 with 44 seconds left. Gino Auriemma's club about to raise its record to 23-1 and 12-0 in the Big East. And at 12-0, the Huskies will be tied with Notre Dame for first place. Here's the rest of the schedule. Friday at home against Syracuse. Then at West Virginia on the 23rd. Against Notre Dame at the Civic Center on the 26th. And at Providence on the 29th. It is a leap year, so there are 29 days to February here in 2000. And you will see all 4 of those remaining regular season games right here on Connecticut Public Television. Now on the inbound pass, it comes to Stith, and they set up a 1-4 offense. Bird double teams the ball. Up high, Iton. Time running out on the shot clock. Cash rejects it. They're going to have a shot clock violation here. Didn't get it off. Another turnover for St. John's, and now the shot clock is off with 18 seconds to go. The 29th, and hopefully for Darcel Estep, final turnover of the night for her club. And now UConn will not even bother taking the shot here. Gino Auriemma holds up the stop sign. Nice gesture. They've already scored enough points. And UConn will win it by 42. The final 85-43 as Gino Auriemma shakes hands with Darcel Estep. So UConn now 23-1 overall, 12-0 in the league following its 4th straight win. Final, UConn by 42.